So you know you have the SAT coming up, but you have no idea how to prepare. So here's a comprehensive 2-month study plan that if you follow, you can get a high score on the SAT. I get it, there's a lot to cover on the SAT, and you're thinking, I have no clue how to prepare for this thing. I don't want to look for a tutor. I don't want to go out and do my own research on it. I just want a 2-month study plan and some books that I can follow. Well, this video is for you. So I'm going to go over each week what you need to study, and then I'm going to provide some books in the link below. Now, by all means, this is not the perfect study plan for everyone, but there isn't a perfect study plan for everyone. If you're stronger at certain subjects and weaker at others, then go ahead and focus on a couple of the weaker ones. But I will tell you, you need to make sure you take a practice test before starting on the study plan, because what you think you know versus what you actually know can be very, very different. So week number 1, you're gonna wanna know your prerequisites for math. You wanna make sure you know fractions, how to cross multiply, how to manipulate equations, negative numbers, what are integers, decimal places, so on and so forth. Then you're gonna wanna learn how to back solve or plug in for the SAT. Now these are tricks that you can easily YouTube online and then learn exactly how to use the answer choices to solve math question or how to come up with your own numbers to solve the math problem. Now for reading and writing, you're going to want to go over rhetorical synthesis questions. These are the questions that looks like these students have a bunch of notes there and then it asks you a question about what the student wants to show you. You're going to want to learn how to answer those questions efficiently and effectively. And again, there's plenty of YouTube videos out there that you can search on the best ways to do just that. You're also going to want to practice on your transition words. These are the words that transition from one sentence to the next, or from one paragraph to the next, or from one idea to the next. You're just wanting to identify relationships between the two sentences. Week number 2, you want to be able to understand and translate word problems. This is, in my opinion, the most important skill that you can have for the math section on the SAT, because you might know how to do everything on the math section, but if you can't translate what's going on in the word problem, then you're never going to be able to show others how you know to solve that problem. So make sure you understand what word problems are saying and how to put them into equations as you're going about reading them. You're going to want to solve systems of linear equations. You want to make sure that you know when you see 2 different lines, what to do with them, and what the questions look like when it talks about a systems of linear equation question. You want to be able to use substitution and elimination method here. Learn how to manipulate math equations. All this means is how to move symbols from one side of the equal sign to the other. If something's divided by 3, I multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of that 3 at the bottom. Right? If I want to get y in terms of everything else, that just means I want to make y by itself equals and then all that other stuff. And for reading and writing, you want to get used to sentence structure. Review the basics of sentence construction and also how every sentence has a subject and a conjugated verb. Then you want to look over non-essential clauses. These are clauses in sentences that are non-essential, which means if you remove them or take them out of the sentence still works. You want to know what they look like, how they're questioned or tested on the SAT. Then you want to learn how to combine sentences, how to combine an independent clause with another independent clause, or an independent clause with a dependent clause. Week number 3, math. You're going to want to go over functions. You want to learn how to work with function notation and nested functions. You want to learn about exponents and radicals and the rules associated with exponents and radicals. If you memorize these rules, you should never miss an exponent or radical question on the digital SAT. For reading and writing, you want to look at subject-verb agreement and verb tenses. If you know those 2 things, those types of questions should not trip you up on the digital SAT. Also, you want to learn how to approach the reading and writing questions correctly on the digital SAT. So a lot of these books will have practice questions, or if you take the practice exam yourself, you can see how the test questions you on certain different grammar rules, and you can start to get a feel for when a question looks or asks you a certain thing, what you should be looking for, and start to predict what the answer should be. Week number 4, you want to learn how to solve quadratic equations. You want to learn about the standard form, the vertex form, and the factored form. Then we have parabolas. You want to understand their properties and what they look like on a graph. And then polynomials. You want to work with polynomial expressions, how to add, subtract, combine like terms, and put all of it together. For reading and writing, you want to get used to comparison type questions, modifier type questions, and then also parallel type questions on the digital SAT. Week number 5, graphs and tables. Get comfortable with being able to read graphs and tables on the digital SAT. You also want to take a look at angles and triangles. Know your rules for angles and triangles. Know how many degrees are inside of a triangle. Know how to find the area and the perimeter of a triangle. For reading and writing, you want to have a strategy for text completion type questions. Make sure you develop a system that allows you to efficiently and effectively answer these types of questions. Week number 7, we want to take a look at right triangles, special right triangles, 45, 45, 90, 3, 4, 5, 5, 12, 13. Understand their properties and understand how you can use the Pythagorean theorem to find one of the sides if you're given the two others. You want to know SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, and tangent. For circles, we want to work with the properties of circles, radius, diameter, circumference, area, and be able to comfortably, and we want to be able to, when we see a circle problem, comfortably know where everything is and be able to label everything correctly. For reading and writing, we want to get really good at strengthening and weakening type question. So being able to identify the argument in the question, being able to also logically think through the answer choices and see which of those strengthens or weakens the conclusion or the argument in the passage itself. Week number 8, math. We want to make sure we understand area, volume, and surface area. For reading and writing, we want to take a look at 2 passage strategies. Basically, how to efficiently and effectively read 2 different passages, understand the relationship between the two, and then answer the given question. On the night before the exam, you want to make sure you get plenty of sleep. None of this matters if you don't get enough sleep. You want to make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Your brain needs a lot of water to function properly. And then you want to make sure you're getting the proper nutrition in. So a balanced meal of protein, fats, and carbs.